If you struggle with social situations, the standard advice is usually to just fake it till you make it. The problem is, we already spend most of our days faking things. We pretend to be busy on our phones when we're just staring at the weather app. We pretend to check our fully empty calendars to see if we're available. You only have so much energy for performance. Stacking fake confidence on top of that long list of daily acts is a guaranteed way to completely drain your social battery. This axis visualizes the confidence scale. Down on the far left, extreme insecurity. On the other side, pure arrogance. You obviously want to avoid extremes, but society tends to reward people who sit higher up on this scale. Because faking that position is physically exhausting and unsustainable, it is entirely more efficient to just become confident. You have to permanently alter your baseline, so there is zero performance required. You were not born insecure. As an infant, you started off high on that confidence scale because you didn't have the capacity to judge yourself. Even if you were a remarkably ugly baby, you didn't know it. The insecurity arrives later. As you grow up and navigate classrooms and playgrounds, you start collecting negative inputs. Other people give you weird looks, or make fun of you, or tell you you're bad at something. Every embarrassing moment and minor rejection acts like malware entering your brain. Slowly, year after year, these accumulated inputs drag you down the scale. You start compiling a list of limiting beliefs based on that bad data. I can't be smart. I can't be attractive. I can't lead. I can't get people to like me. It is crucial to recognize that a lack of confidence is not a permanent personality flaw. It is simply a system crash caused by years of faulty code written by your environment. This flowchart maps the exact anatomy of how that bad code ruins your behavior. You start with a negative belief about yourself, which makes you avoid trying. That inaction inevitably leads to failure, and your brain logs that failure as hard evidence that the negative belief was true all along. The irony here is that your brain is working exactly as designed. It is a highly efficient pattern recognition machine. It is just perfectly executing corrupt data. The first structured method to hack this specific cycle was published 65 years ago by Maxwell Maltz in a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Maltz proposed a literal reprogramming patch. You have to step into that cycle right at the initial thought and manually reject the negative belief before it forces you into inaction. You do this through intense, repeated visualization. By painting a vivid mental picture of yourself successfully doing the thing you're afraid of, you confuse your brain's hardware into believing it has already accomplished the task. This is not mystical, positive thinking magic. It is a mechanical hack. You are intentionally feeding false positive data to your pattern recognition software, so it allows you to finally take action. A common objection to this method is that positive visualization cannot change physical reality. You might think, no matter how much I visualize, I can't change the fact that I have a massive nose. Maltz was actually a cosmetic surgeon, which gave him a highly clinical environment to observe exactly how physical flaws interact with internal programming. He noticed you could have two distinct patients with the exact same objectively large nose. Person A doesn't even think about it and goes on to live an incredibly successful, highly social life. Person B obsesses over the nose, using it as an excuse to completely withdraw from society. Person B's brain is making a massive logic error. It is taking a single physical trait, or maybe an insult from a 7-year-old in 2nd grade, and using it as definitive proof that they can simply never be attractive. Meanwhile, millions of people with similar traits have completely bypassed that obstacle. Authentic confidence isn't about ignoring your physical reality. It is the conscious choice to stop letting garbage data serve as the foundational evidence for your self-worth. While visualization helps delete the old code, permanently upgrading your baseline confidence requires you to force brand new physical inputs into the system. You need undeniable proof. There is a final structural override for a malfunctioning self-image, outlined in a framework by psychiatrist Dr. K, called Do the Impossible. The goal isn't literal impossibilities. You make a list of small things that are technically feasible, but that your current programming tells you that you cannot do. Waking up at 4:30 a.m., running 6 miles. Introducing yourself to 5 total strangers in one day. Then you schedule a time and you execute those exact tasks. The entire purpose of this exercise is to manufacture raw, empirical proof of your own capability. When you inevitably face a situation that triggers your old insecurities, your brain will try to run the old script. But now it is confronted with undeniable physical evidence of your recent successes. The old programming can't survive the contradiction, and the system is forced to update. True, unshakable confidence is never faked. It is the completely natural byproduct of a mind that has compiled a verifiable database of its own competence.